Hey, welcome to Photo4me TV episode 14. This week we're discussing updates to the popular searches tool, and stay tuned for an artist interview with David Neighbour. So, thanks for joining us. In the spirit of the new popular searches tool, today's questions for artists is, where is the first place you're going to photograph when lockdown eases? Can you comment with your answers below? If you're enjoying this weekly updates and artist podcasts, drop a like and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to stay up to date with the latest changes to our platform. And I'm going to introduce the team now. So we've got me, my name's Mark, and I am responsible for member success. We have Dan, who takes care of the social media, and Mike, who runs the day-to-day operations. Oh, hey team. So I'm going to jump straight in with the first-time sellers for the past 7 days. And I've got a fairly healthy-looking list here. We've got Karen York, Mick Vardy, Michelle Davis, Sharon Smith, Christopher Kelly, Andrew Heath, Graham Binns, Vicky Alton, Photovation Akshay, Rory Hales, Jeff White, and Jim Monk. So there we go. It's a good list. And the top 5 sellers for this week as well for the past 7 days. We've got at the top there Maggie McCall. We've got Dave Wilkinson, North Devon Photography, Andrew Ray, Jason Wells, and Jay Biggerdike. There we go. So Dan.
The editor's choices for this week, we have Louise Godwin with Dusk Over the Port, White Landscapes with Karina in the Mist, Rob Hawkins with Fine Tine Sunset, Craig Dugan with Dundee Supermoon, and Grant Glendening with Lockbarder The Store. And the top searches from the time of this recording, we have at number 1 Palenza, number 2 Algarve, number 3 Scotland, number 4 Whitby, and at number 5 Monochrome. And remember guys, if you have any images of these locations or search terms, get out there and start making collections around those. Last week we released the new popular searches tool, and the response from you guys has been incredible. If you haven't used it yet, you can click the seed link in your artist navigation bar at the top of your member page, click popular searches, or you can click the link in the description below. We are constantly working on improving your workflow within the website and saving you time when you're managing your portfolio. One of the main things that kept creeping up was that we know that many of you requested a quicker way to edit your keywords, and a way that would prevent you from having to leave the collections creator in order to do so. We're all really excited to say that soon we're going to be releasing the quick keyword edit that will exist within the collections creator. This feature will give you a way to quickly edit your keywords in an easy to use pop-up when you click the edit button near the image you want to update. This will also fix the 5-minute lag within your keyword update, making sure that every keyword update you make will be instant. Overall, this tool's really going to save you guys time and will improve your workflow, preventing you from having to leave the collections creator. We also have one more really exciting update. We're also going to be releasing what customers are searching for right now. This will be integrated into the collections creator, and you'll be able to see what customers are searching for live when they're on the website at the same time.
In real time.
Real time at the same time as you are. So really great improvements across the board, and you can expect to see these within the next 2 weeks. So Mark, how can artists expect to see these updates reflected in our Inspiration magazine?
Well, so there's a good question actually. So we're still working on the process of building and prepping the magazine to go live. And so there's a lot of work going on there. But just based on the research, so we last weekend we put out a Palenza email campaign because that featured quite heavily in search. And so we ran a short email campaign on Sunday, which was a kind of a magazine feel, featuring some of our artists who had those keywords and had collections for Palenza. And you know, I think the results were fairly good. So what we're going to do is we're going to carry on doing that until the magazine's live, and then the magazine will take over from that, and we will drive more traffic to the magazine. But you know, going through the popular searches at the moment, monochrome seems to be the thing that is popping up there. So we are going to be featuring some monochrome work this coming weekend, and I think you're working on that at the moment, aren't you, Dan?
Yeah, and of course, in light of Burns Night that was celebrated in Scotland this week, we're going to feature some monochrome from Scotland artists. But of course, we're going to build on that as we develop it and grow it. So it's a good opportunity for everyone there to get involved.
That's it. I mean, and we will be picking out dates like that over the year, like Burns Night and Valentine's Day, which brings me very nicely on to the next bit, actually, because we're approaching that first sort of big marketing event of the year where, people want you to part with cash for cards and gifts for Valentine's Day. So that's a great opportunity for us. So we want to reach out to you, the artist here. We're going to be creating a magazine article and running a campaign in the lead up. So we're asking you to get in touch with us if you have an image for sale on Photo4me that is of a place you either met, married, or has a romantic link with your partner. If you could share with us that story, then we'll use that in conjunction with your image and promote it on our Valentine's offer. So in order to do that, all you've got to do is send an email to customercare@photo4me.com and put Valentine's in the subject, or you can reach out to us on Facebook, which I know you're all on. So Mike, how do we help the artists to get found for these searches?
Well, actually, with our new tool that John's created with the collections here, I'm going to share my screen for a moment. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that up here is Italy or monochrome, which we know is one of the actual top searches here that Dan pointed out earlier, or was it yourself? Anyways, let's just say Italy was the #1 search, and so I could say, oh, okay, yeah, I've been to Italy. All right, let's go. So I could type in Italy here, and so. Oh, great! I could create now a collection of all my Italian pictures. But then also, knowing that judging by here that is monochrome, I say, hey, I have a monochrome picture here of an Italian monochrome of the Colosseum. So I go and double check and say monochrome right there. And how about that? It's not tagged. So all right, fine. I'll go back to. Oh, I know, shame. Shane Bell from Game of Thrones should come out now. Shane. So okay, I come back. So now that I know I don't have monochrome in my image on the Colosseum, I would just then open it up here and go into the image and just edit it that way. So that's a quick way of doing it right now until we have that tool where we can just edit directly on the picture itself. And then also something that I've noticed here is now going back to the searches, I've also gone to the Algarve, and I just know right away that I don't have any pictures, but I did take a lot of pictures. And as I say, no pictures. I could say, oh my God, there's a lot of a lot of searches for that search term. I should get uploading those images. So that's something you should consider also. That if you can't make the collection and you see that there's a need or a want by customers for that search term, get uploading and then try and capitalize on those searches right away and then create those collections. So that's my tip for the week, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for that, Mike. Now, Dan, I understand it's guest time, so do you want to introduce the guest for us?
Yeah, of course. So this week we have the artist guest David Neighbour joining us. David's only been taking landscape photography for about 3 years, and the team are simply blown away by just how good they are. David joined Photo4me around 2 years ago. He's done really well on the website, and we're really excited to talk to him about 3 photographs of his choice. So let's get David in. David, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks.
You're good. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Mark and Mike, who both work on Photo4me.
Hey.
Yeah, nice
I'm sure you've heard of Mike over the years.
Everybody's heard of me. Wow. Yeah, I know. I'm a watching man.
It's Mike and John, isn't it? The original founders, kind of.
Yeah. Unfortunately, John's not with us today. He usually is, but I'm sure you'll meet him at some point. So off the bat, thanks so much for taking the time to chat to us. I know in lockdown, this could be the last thing some people want to do, so we really appreciate your time. For those, no worries. For those that don't know who you are, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, your background in photography, and how you've ended up here chatting to us?
Yeah, no problem. I've only really been doing landscapes probably for a couple of years, really. Before that, I was just kind of like taking macro pictures of insects and wildlife, stuff like that. And it was kind of like the narrow depth of focus, which kind of found interesting, kind of like the almost abstract kind of surreal look that you get with macro images. And whenever I took pictures of landscapes, it was always kind of just like holiday snaps, really. So it was kind of trying to find a way where I could take landscape pictures I was kind of quite interested in. And you can't really do it with narrow depth of focus, but you can do it with similar kind of things like mists and light and or like long exposures on the sea to kind of cut out a lot of the clutter that I was getting from like a big wide sweeping landscape. I know some people take pictures of that and I see them and they're really good, but I just can't do that. So it was kind of simplifying landscapes to be able to create like quite a nice image that I was happy with. So once I kind of worked out how to do that and the problems associated with shooting directly into the sun and the high dynamic range and stuff like that, as soon as I'd worked out the technical problems, that's where I am at the moment, really, just taking the evolutionary leap from macros into quite simple landscapes. And that's kind of where I am, just at the simple stage of the landscapes. And I'm sort of happy with that.
No, that's incredible. The fact that you've only been taking, did you say it was 3 years you started taking landscapes is
about 3 years now. Yeah,
3 years. I mean, the quality of the landscape stuff that you have on the website is outstanding.
Thanks very much.
You mentioned macro photography before that. How long have you actually been in photography in general before delving into landscapes? Because these seem like really high quality images for only the past 3 years.
Oh, it's probably about 10 years, but it was kind of on and off. I'd go crazy on them for a little bit and take loads of pictures of insect species and then get a bit bored with it. And, it was kind of like trying to find something else interesting to take because you can't, it's chasing insects around. You can't really come up with a composition. You just have to take lots and lots of pictures and eventually some of them work and some of them don't. So even that I've kind of like, I do with my landscapes really because, well, at first perhaps, because it was difficult to plot an exact composition that I'd be happy with because you'd go on the day and this one in the right place, that one in the right place. And it was difficult for me to visualize a perfect composition. So you can kind of get around that by either plotting exactly where you need to be, like on Google Maps, say I need to be in this position, this focal range, because I can't sort of like think at that time in the morning normally when the sun's coming up. It's too early.
I don't blame you.
Plan it with military precision, or just kind of like take a load of pictures from different angles and then get back and see which ones work best, really. So it was kind of like the blind pig snuffling for truffles. Eventually, if you take enough pictures, some of them are going to be good. So, I can probably recognize a good picture when I see one, but I just didn't really know how to take a good one. So it's just kind of like taking loads and loads. That's the beauty of digital photography, really. You can just take loads and loads of pictures and take them back and then see which ones work, really. And eventually you kind of like kind of know what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, David, I got a question for you because I'm looking at your My Favorite 10 collection, and something that really jumps out at me is how moody these pictures are. And I mean, like, they're just so like striking. Just they just have like this mood. Every single picture has a certain mood to it, I find. I think my probably favorite picture is the Dirtle Door. I love that picture. I just love sort of like there's just so much to captivate the eye. Personally, what's your sort of like take on, like, do you always look for some sort of moody shot? And I guess probably what's your favorite picture you've ever taken?
I do. I don't know about, yeah, probably moody. I like the slightly surreal ones, the ones you kind of look at and think almost abstract. So not necessarily odd, but just say the light is coming from a different direction than your eye would normally expect. Or say the Nightstone Island one with the posts completely covered in water, and just sort of like your eye just doesn't sort of like appreciate that as being normal. So you're kind of thinking, what's the deal here? What's going on here? So it's slightly sort of surreal. And the mist ones as well, when you kind of like change the light sometimes slightly, just so it makes it look really spooky or odd. Like the Corfe Castle ones I did was often like a really, really subdued light, and it was just picking up the mist. And I don't know whenever I show these pictures to my mum, she always goes, "They don't look real." And I don't know, probably from her, that's a compliment. But I kind of don't want them to look real. I want them to look slightly abstract and a bit weird, almost like a painting, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at your Colmer's Pano one there, which just feels as if it's something out of an Arthurian legend, and it's like it's got that sort of essence to it that just makes you want to sort of be drawn into the image, doesn't it? Really?
Oh, lovely. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was one. I mean, Colmer's I've taken, as you know, probably know if you've seen any pictures, slightly obsessed with. But the complete wraparound mist. I mean, if you go to Colmer's, it's like Corfe Castle. That you take the ideal angle is above it from Quar Hill, looking down on the hill, but without any mist, it just gets lost in the background. So, but if you've got the mist there that sort of like separates, cuts out all the clutter, and sort of like provides a background to the trees on the top, the perfect like symmetrical trees, it just kind of brings it all alive, and it just looks surreal with just like a desert island sitting there in the middle of nothing. And with that one, the light was, I got over there and it was just kind of like half an hour. So it was kind of like the blue hour. So everything was tranquil and quite dull. But it still took us, some nice shots. But as soon as the light come up, and I've done virtually nothing to that picture in terms of editing at all. I've used a different exposure for the sun, but I really didn't need to because it was kind of so diffused. I could have just used one straight off the camera. And so it just looks, bizarre sitting there. You've got kind of the roll of the wave as well, of the wave, the roll of the mist, and then towards the sun, you've got like some slight ripples. And so any editing, I think whenever I edit mist, you kind of like create a sort of noise or blotchiness. There's probably some technical term for it, but I don't know. So any working of the mist, I kind of would have lost details in the mist. So it really was best just to leave it alone and just crop it with that. I find, because of the shape of the hill, I like it to be fairly central, sort of a third of the way up or a third of the way down kind of thing. And then the mist and the sun behind it. So it just took care of itself, that one. I just had to be there.
For those listening, by the way, we asked David if he could pick 3 photos of his choice for us to discuss, and Colmer's Hill is one of them, which you'll be able to see on your screen now. David, I remember you saying it took you 2 years to get the right shot with that mist at Colmer's Hill.
Yeah, I've been over there with quite a well-renowned. I met him over there, Doug Chalk. He does the Colmer's Hill calendar. He knows everything about the place, and he kind of showed me a few different spots of where to take pictures from. But the first time I was over there was quite a good mist. It wasn't a complete wraparound, and I was thinking, oh, this is easy game. You only got to just come over here and there's going to be a mist there. But every time I went since then, I missed it by a day, or I got over there and there's a little mist, or it was too much mist and I couldn't even see the hill. And so it was like 2 years, and I'd missed one the week before, and I was cursing myself, and I just sort of like on the off chance, it wasn't really forecast, but I thought I've got to try and get this, and just went over there, and you just see it like a desert island, just sitting there in this veil of mist. It's just an awesome place.
The way
Are you close to that? Is it a lot of driving to get there? Or
no,
is it relatively close?
It's only about half an hour from me, so it's not so bad. When I go to Corfe Castle, it's like an hour and a half or whatever, so I need to look at the weather forecast and just try and nail that down to when there's going to be a mist.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the way that the mist wraps around that hill, I wasn't aware of how Colmer's Hill looked without mist when I first joined Photo4me, because this mist shot is quite popular. And when I googled it and saw it without mist, I was like, oh my god, it's not that high or not that large in comparison to its surroundings. But the way that you capture it, as you say, it has that surreal feel where it's just like it's above the entire world. So I think that's so striking.
I think it's essential. Well, not essential. I know other people take fantastic photos of Colmshill using kind of like the sky as a backdrop as well, and from different angles and everything. But I like the angle with the 9 pine trees, nice and evenly spaced, with the little ones on the corner, and the nice kind of like triangular shape. So I just kind of stick to that for the time being. I've got other ones of Colmshill, but like you say, it just needs that mist to isolate it, and just to emphasize that focal point really. And then you've got like the mist just rolling away into soft nothingness and the sun. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You one of the other photos you shared is of Nightstone Island. You already briefly touched upon that about how the tide covers this pathway. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about how you captured this shot?
Yeah, no problems. I think this was a couple of years ago. So I didn't really know what I was doing, but I'd seen this picture on a calendar, and I'd Google other pictures of it. And it's a strange place. It's like the causeway itself is like a concrete barrier, and you've got like a tidal pool on the left-hand side, and then the sea on the right-hand side. So at very high tide, it fills the tidal pool. But then as the tide recedes, you've got like the tidal pool up with the level of the causeway, and then the sea side of it just reveals this kind of quite ugly concrete breakwater kind of thing. And it just looks nothing at all. And I thought, I'd seen this one on the calendar, and I thought, well, it's going to have to be a high tide, and it's going to have to probably have the sun behind the island. And just getting down there, it's just it just comes alive with those posts, and especially on like a long exposure. The sea comes up to the shore and meets a concrete walkway. So there's no beauty in that. So you're just kind of shooting the posts and the island. And so on, you don't really want like little waves taking your eye away from those posts. So it's like a long exposure to flatten everything off, and you just get the slight reflections of the post. And the post is just so neat. I'd like to congratulate whoever put those in, because it's just amazing post. And I just love it.
Appreciate it until you see it in isolation.
If you're listening now, well done.
Shout out those guys.
But it's just such a simple composition. But it's that area of being slightly surreal, slightly abstractive. Where does this path go? Why is it you would need to be walking on the water to this magical island, which is kind of quite ordinary in real life? But I just think it works nice with and it was one, again, I didn't really know exactly where to position myself, because you can take it from a higher elevation from the promenade, or down at the level of the picture that I sent in. It was kind of like, where do you have the post coming in? How far back? It's just kind of, but that one I just took loads and loads of pictures in the quickest time as possible, because obviously the tide's only going to be up for a certain amount of time, and then you've got the sun rising above the island. And just getting back and trying to think, oh yeah, that works. Thank God for that. That one works. So, yeah, it's trial and error, really, trying to find a decent composition.
Was there a lot of planning that went into this picture, or was it just sort of sheer luck that you got it?
After seeing the picture, I knew what kind of shot I wanted, but I didn't know where I was going to be standing. I didn't realise there was a walkway. So it was, I do try and kind of look on Google Earth or something like that to know, because I don't want to be messing around at that time in the morning. So I need to know exactly where I'm going to be standing. So I knew I wanted a long exposure so I could get the filters on and not have to worry about that kind of thing. And I knew roughly where I wanted to stand. I knew roughly that I wanted the post coming in from the right-hand side, the straight line of posts, and then the little kink in it coming in from the left-hand side. So I did know roughly where I needed to be, and I just took another few just to make sure I wasn't wrong, kind of thing.
That's great. What was the outcome like for your editing process? Was this similar to Colmer's Hill, where luckily it didn't take much, or did you have to touch up quite a bit in post?
No, this was another one that I didn't really have to do very much to. It was another exposure for the sky. Just layered that in, bring it down a bit. I might have created a. Sometimes when you've got like a flat sea like that, it picks up noise, as I was saying before, like a mist, really. So I wanted to introduce a bit of brightness into it, so I up the brightness a bit, but then I got a kind of a bit of blotchiness. So I created a motion blur layer and then just fed that into the original just to kind of smooth out that noise from around on the flat bits of the sea.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's so funny that it takes a shot like this to appreciate something as simple yet beautiful as the spacing of the post. You know, if I visited this on a normal day, I wouldn't bat an eyelid at the way that the posts draw you to the island. So yeah, that's amazing. And the third shot you've shared is of the West Bay. A similar shot of the sea there. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about how you captured this one?
Yeah, I mean, the sea was probably about a 1 second exposure. So just to get some movement into the tide, I didn't want it completely flat. But really, I mean, there's lots of pictures of West Bay with the curve ending in the cliffs there, normally with side lighting, which kind of like lights up those cliffs really nice. So you get like a nice golden colour. But I don't know, they sort of sometimes you get the cliffs going round and then it sort of peters away into nothing. So I know you got the cliffs as the focal point, but I thought it'd be nice if you got the sun at that time of year was coming up right at the end of the cliffs. So if that was kind of like the cliffs went round into the sun as the focal point, would be nice. And also you've got a lot going on the top left-hand part of the picture, and then a lot of them just kind of like drift away into nothing towards the bottom right hand of the picture. So I thought if those rocks, quite nice, they're not natural shape, but they've been cut obviously to protect the pier. And there's some nice flat faces on some of them. And I thought if I could get the sun coming up and catching that rock on that bit of rubble down on the right hand side, then with the kind of the swirls of the waves leading over to the cliffs and then around onto the sun, I'd have quite a nice composition. And I think it worked all right. The problem is with the sun in that position, you won't get the kind of like the golden colour of the cliffs. This is sort of like the sacrifice you have to make. And looking at it now, I'm not over keen on the crop, and the sunrise is a bit weak and stuff like that. But other edits, I've kind of put that right, but you know, they don't look as natural as this one, because this one was virtually sort of straight off the camera. And this was one where not the only good composition, but I kind of think it was about a year ago, and it was one that I kind of thought that this composition actually works quite well, and I was kind of like pleased with how it turned out, because there's a lot of pictures of West Bay, as I said, but I was quite pleased with that one.
So we're asking the people today to tell us where they're likely to go when sort of lockdown eases. You know, where's the first place you're going to photograph when lockdown eases? So have you got somewhere on your sort of local hit list there that you're gonna run to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm dying to get out really to try some more places apart from re-editing Colmer's Hill. But I'm not too far from Dartmoor, so I'd like to do some woodland sort of photography. There's a few good Dorset photographers, you know, Chris Frost and stuff like that, and you look at his pictures and you kind of think, it's not even worth me bothering. But to try and do something like Chris does, you know, in places around here when the garlic's up, perhaps, or you know, we've got Wistman's Wood. It's one that I keep going to, and you have to have a mist on that to cut out all the clutter. And I haven't managed to nail that one yet, and I'd like to have a little wander around there in the mist, and a few more of Dartmoor. Yeah, so I'll probably go into the woods in the spring if I'm allowed.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I think we'll all be sort of trying a bit of that, won't we? If we're allowed to go anywhere. You know? So yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So
sorry, Mark.
Go on, Dan.
I know. I was just going to recap. Go for it.
No, that's all right. I just don't want to interrupt you. No, I was just thinking about you know, with all of this. I mean, is that what you spent your time doing, sort of during lockdown? Is just re-looking at your images that you've got and.
As far as photography goes, yeah, I did manage to get to Durdle Door over Christmas, just before the other lockdown, for the sunrise through the arch, the old cliche shot, which I just felt obliged to get. But yeah, I haven't really. I have sort of breaks from it, and I was having a break from it anyway, and I was going to pick it up, and then there was the lockdown. But I've still got to go to work and that, so. As far as photography goes, it's kind of looking at old pictures and escaping for a couple of, not places that are not too far. I mean, I can go for an exercise walk, at Pilston Pen or somewhere, perhaps. I don't know.
I've seen a lot of people exercising with photography gear lately.
With their camera, yeah.
Yeah, right. Running down the road with tripods.
Remember, you're allowed to go about 7 miles.
All right, I'll see where I've got within 7 miles.
Yeah. So everyone in Photo4me is sort of drawing on map, with a compass 7 miles.
Yeah, like a radius.
Yeah. What can I get in this area here? So yeah.
I don't know. I'd say 7 miles just because Boris said he went for a bike ride that was 7 miles. So I think that's probably how far we can get away with.
Yeah, it's good enough for Boris. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. We've obviously been in touch with other artists, and a lot of people are taking the time to go back through their back catalogue and revisit and touch up any edits that they might have missed or re-upload images that they may have forgotten about. I know one artist said he's got about 20,000 sitting in his backlog over the years. He recently joined that. He's just been going through and uploading, 2 or 3 new edits a week. So it's difficult, but it is a good opportunity for people to go back and look at what they've already shot and, take the time to appreciate what they've already captured, because without taking the time to go back on your work, there could be so many gems that you would have missed. Have you found any that you wouldn't have gone back and edited before this lockdown?
Yeah. There's a few that I've gone back to now. Now you kind of learn a few more things. It's good to revisit some of the old ones that you haven't really done justice to. You kind of you come up with a new edit now and it just feels a lot better. So there's a few that I've kind of like put up again and then kind of deleted the old one kind of thing. So I consider it as like an improvement. I'll probably change my mind on that at some point, because what you like one day, you sometimes look back on and think, oh, I wish I'd have gone with the old one. But yeah, there was some of when I went to Cork Castle to get the Comet Nearwise. And there was kind of a mist there, but it was too bright. The sun was too high by the time the mist come in.
Right.
And I didn't really know what to do with them. They just didn't look. I don't like it when the sun's too high. The mist goes watery, and I didn't really know what to do with them. But I've had to go editing some of them, and they don't look too bad now. So I was pleased that I was able to do that. So yeah, I don't want to waste a trip to Cork Castle without any pictures.
I've got your Comet shot up now on my end. How much of this is from the camera versus post process? Because
you're like me, mum.
Yeah, because
it's not real, is it? It's not real.
Like I said, I'm not a photographer. I do video.
Is it the one with the? I mean, is it the one behind the castle with the mist around it?
I've got Cork Castle Comet Mono. So yeah, we've got the Comet.
Yeah. The mono, the Comet was taken at Cork Castle, but not in that position because it's too far around to the left. So I had to kind of reposition and stuff like that. But I took one picture of the Comet, and it was kind of like some nice wavy bits going on around the side of it that I was quite pleased with. So I never went back to kind of like reshoot it. So yeah, some crafty editing's gone on there, Mum. Sorry about that. It was never going to come up behind the castle like that.
No, I only asked because already what you've told me straight out the camera, I'm thinking, what are all these straight out the camera? What's going on here?
Yeah, no, the three I picked, they've had not very much done on them at all. That's why I kind of like them really. And there's plenty out there that look nice on the wall, but are they kind of like genuine off the camera pictures? No, they're not. They've been altered in some way, improved in some way.
Yeah, gently sort of touched up is what the
gently touched up. Yeah, just I might have tweaked the contrast a bit.
Yeah.
So aside from where you're planning on first visiting, getting out of lockdown, do you have anything else planned for your photography for the year?
I normally have a break in the summer, but which does mean I miss the kind of the poppies, sunflowers, that sort of thing. So I might, if I have to miss out on the spring, perhaps I'll have a go at that. I mean, I've had one go at poppies. It's difficult to find poppy fields around there without there being dozens of people there. But there was some nice sunflower shots I've seen from Dorset, which would be quite nice to get. So yeah, perhaps some summery ones, some greenery rather than the usual kind of winter, autumn ones that I go for.
Well, it's been amazing. First and foremost, finally meeting you, and finally putting a name to the face of David Neighbour, because like I said, your photography's always jumped out at us, but I personally have never been in contact with you or seen you on social media or anything like that. So it's been really great to chat to you. Before we wrap up, is there any advice that you'd like to give any of the photographers watching that are, either struggling with their creative process or struggling with the lockdown? Is there anything that you can give them to take away before we wrap up?
Well, what I normally do is just do what I like to do, what pleases my eye, really, and then hopefully other people will like it too. But start off simple. Don't try and do, my landscapes still really simple compositions and stuff like that. So just do what you enjoy doing. If you see something, if you take loads and loads of pictures, don't worry about it. And you see something that catches your eye, just try and hone in towards that, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic.
Well, yeah, like I said, David, thanks so much for taking the time to chat to us.
Thanks,
we really appreciate it.
I have one question for you, David. How did you find us? So I know you joined back in early 2018. How did you just come about it? Was it word of mouth, or is it just sort of simple Google search?
I think I was searching probably some sort of pictures on the internet, and it come up with Photo4me, and then I was kind of clicking on them, and then I was thinking, there's this website where people kind of like sell all their pictures. That'd be worth a go. So it was just like that, really. I think it's just an internet search, and you kind of cropped up.
Oh, great.
Cool. Yeah, no, you've been quite successful in the short amount of time that you've been on the site, selling about 50 pictures. So yeah, congratulations on your success so far, and hopefully it continues.
What you've done with the site, actually, it seems to really uptick, in terms of traffic through the site and everything, and in the advertising and stuff.
Oh, that's great. Well,
yeah, you got to thank John. John's done a lot of work, so yeah, John's been full on.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, since lockdown, it's been full steam ahead. But we're excited to see what you upload across the year. We will be watching, because we absolutely love your work.
I'll try and upload some different stuff for you.
All right then, David. Thanks so much for
Cheers,
joining
no
us, and we'll catch you soon.
Yep.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, David. See ya.
Cheers.
See
Bye.
you later.
Bye. So thank you very much for David Neighbour there, and thank you again for watching this week. So just to recap, we have been discussing the updates to the popular searches tool. And remember, we really want to know, where is the first place you're going to photograph when lockdown eases? So, please comment below. If you're enjoying this again, I just want to reiterate that, please drop us a like and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to stay up to date with the latest changes to our platform. Guys, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.